Hey guys, I'm Oxy and this is my duelist character build in Elden Ring. So the purpose of this build is to roleplay as the duelist enemies in this game. We're gonna use every single weapon and armor that they do use, and I'm gonna show you where to get everything. But let's start first with my stats. Now this character is crazy high level. You don't need to be crazy high level for this build. I'm gonna put on the screen the minimum stats requirement in order to use this build efficiently. If you want to level up fast, there's a bunch of helpful videos how to level up fast in this game on YouTube. Right, now let's go to equipment. As I said, we roleplay as a duelist, so we have every single weapon that they do have. Now, these enemies, they only use two type of weapons, the battle hammers, which we're gonna dual wield, and the duelist great axe. Now, these enemies in the game, they don't have any type of magic attack. Basically, they are pure strength builds and they're hitting extremely hard. But in order to get some extra damage, I'm going with fire damage actually on this build in a combination with jumping attacks. So we do use the battle hammers with eruption ash of war, which is giving us good physical damage and a good fire damage. Also, we do use the duelist great axe with lion claw ash of war, which is giving us a nice jump attack. We do use the claw marks here, does have a good scaling in strength, and we do use two incantations with this build. Now when we're going down to the armor set, the duelist armor set doesn't come with gauntlets. There is no gauntlets for this armor set, so use which gauntlet you think it's looking better with the armor set. The duelist set does have a special effect. It's basically attracting enemies to you. So yeah, it's an interesting effect, and it's really not the tankiest armor set in the game. Now, at the chest, I do recommend you to use the Raptor Black Feather because this one is giving you some extra jumping damage if you want to use that. But as I said, it's quite a weak armor set, so I don't blame you if you want to use a much more better armor set that actually would offer you some better protection. Now, when we're going to talismans, I do have the claw talisman, which is giving us some extra jumping damage. This is gonna synergize extremely well with the duelist great axe, on which we have the lion claw ash of war, which is basically a jumping attack. So those two are gonna synergize well for some extra damage. We do have the dragon crest great shield talisman. This is boosting physical damage negation. As you saw, the armor set is quite weak, so this is gonna be quite useful. Shard of Alexander greatly boosts the attack power of skills. This is just, a must-have talisman because, well, it's boosting every special attack that you can do. And we do have this Fire Scorpion Charm, boost fire attacks but lower damage negation. We do use fire attack on this build. Right, when we go into the Flask Wondrous Physics, as you can see, I do have two mixed status. One is boosting fire damage, and the other one is boosting stance break easier. Basically, if you fight anything that is using a shield or is blocking a lot, that is going to help you to break his stance. We do use the Mimic Tear Ash because, well, I know it did got nerfed, but it's still a copy of your character, which is still gonna be quite strong, but you can use which one you prefer. Also, I do use Fire Grease for some extra fire damage because we do use a lot of fire damage with this build. Now about the incantations that I do use on this build, there is two of them. Golden Wow, pretty standard, you should use this one in any type of build that you have increased attack and defense for self and allies, so yeah. It's a standard one, you should use it with every build. Flames grant me strength, raise physical and fire affinity attack power. So basically, this one is giving you more physical damage and also more fire damage. As I said, on this build, we do use a lot of fire damage. We have the Eruption Ash of War, which is doing fire damage. We have the Flask of Wondrous Physics, which is giving us extra fire damage. And we do have the Talisman, which is giving us extra fire damage. So yeah, this is gonna boost our damage even further. Let's talk about the weapons and the Ash of Wars that I did choose to use on this build. Now the first weapon is the Duelist Great Axe. Pretty standard movement for any type of colossal weapon. Nothing really special about it. What's special about it is the Ash of War that I choose on it, the Lion Claw. As you can see, it's a nice jumping attack which is synergizing extremely well with the Claw Talisman in order to get even more damage. What else I do use on this Great Axe? It's Fire Grease to get some extra damage. We can boost that obviously with the Flask and with the Talisman that we do use for more fire damage. And if you want even more damage, we can use our Incantations, Golden Wow, Flames grant me strength, and now we're gonna do probably over 1,000 damage. Yeah, right there, over 1,000 damage. So all that 1,000 damage enhanced with the jumping attack, it's pretty much gonna one or two shot almost all the enemies besides the really strong ones and the bosses, of course. Now other weapons that I do use on this build, they are the battle hammers, and we have two of them. When they are buffed, they're doing over 1,000 damage. That's quite good. About the movement of these weapons, pretty standard again, like any other dual wielding. But the Ash of War, it's the good thing about this. So he's doing a heavy attack, which is doing fire damage, and after he's gonna leave magma on the floor. Now that magma is doing crazy damage, because we're getting the boost from the Flask of Wondrous Physics and from the Talisman. So that's some really good fire damage right there. Also that magma, it's staggering. It's doing stagger damage, which is really good, staggering the enemy, and you can just continue spamming this attack. Yeah, so I think we did manage to make this build to be quite strong. I know that the duelist, they don't use magic attacks, but in order to make this build to work with such a weak armor type, I think we do need all this. Now, where can you get all these weapons and the full armor set? You need to make your way to the Liner Royal Capital. I need to get to West Capital Rampart, Site of Grace. And when you're here, you're just gonna follow this route. You're gonna see a hallway that is leading down, and you're just gonna go here. Now, if your first time here is gonna be a big gargoyle here, you can defeat it if you want. If not, just run away. But once you defeat it, it's not gonna respawn. So you're just gonna follow this route, go up the stairs, and there is the enemy that you're gonna farm. There is the first one. It can drop any type of armor piece, and that enemy can drop the great axe. And after you kill that one, there's another one up there which is wielding the battle hammers. You kill that one, and you just do it over and over again until you're gonna get all the weapons and all the armor pieces. Now, a couple of things that you should know when you farming something in this game. There's a couple of things that can help you. The first thing would be the silver scarab. Raise item discovery. This is gonna give you a chance to get more items. Another good thing is would be to have high arcane. High arcane does help item discovery. And another thing that you can use, which is a boost, you can use the silver pickled fall food, which is temporary boosting item discovery. Now, when you're using this buff, one thing that you don't want to do is to fast travel. So after you kill those enemies, just walk back. Walk back to the grace, rest at the grace, don't pass time, and exit the grace, and just come back here and fight them again. If you fast travel back to the site of grace, it's gonna cancel your buffs. And this is it. This is my duelist character build in Elden Ring. Let me know your opinion in the comments section. Do you like it? How would you improve it? Do you even like this type of weapons or this type of armor? I have a bunch of other build videos and guides on my channel, so maybe you're gonna want to subscribe and watch them. Anyway, thank you very much for watching and see you guys in the next one.